This is our penultimate race of the day. It is time for Formula Libre. Clive Carpenter and Christian Chater on the front row. John Dormer and Paul Belton on row 2. Gary Coburn, Richard Lefebvre on row 3. Jerome Stewart, Paul Smale. Row 4, lights out, and we go racing. Heading down into Park Bend for the first time. And looks like the number 57 of Gary Coburn is now still in 5th position at the minute where he started. Went a bit wide coming through the exit of Cafe Corner. And he's going up the inside of Paul Belton to take the position, as has Graham Stewart. So Belton's dropped from 4th to 6th on the opening exchange in this race. So, trophy presentations for the finals that have already been completed here today. We'll kick-start with the Bambinos, which I think they're just calling at the moment, but we'll concentrate on the action out on track. Clive Carpenter and Christian Chater back at it again in the final this time. A bit more of a lengthy endurance spell for all competitors, all 8 of them. So we've got just over 9 minutes plus an additional lap to go. We'll make that just under 9 minutes plus an additional lap to go. As the timing quickly resets itself. No contact warnings yet. Air temperature still 21 degrees at 10 past 5 local time here, as Clive Carpenter is going to try and go for the win. I'm sure that Christian Chater is going to want to do exactly the same. And look at the different lines they're using, heading into the approach into Wilkins, going into the main turning point into Wilkins as well. So the leaders cross the start-finish line, and Chater is right up close and personal with Clive Carpenter. Less than 1/10 of a second. Well, it's not even that heading towards the Stratford hairpin. Number 24 is looking at that opportunistic move that could help him to go towards victory. But we still have over 4/5 of this race to go, plus an additional lap. So Clive Carpenter continues to lead from Chris Chater in 2nd. John Dormer rounding out the top 3 as Chater seems to get a better run coming out of the final corner. Down the start-finish straight they go, heading into Park Bend. And Carpenter's still got the defensive bit between his teeth, if you will. Coming through Cafe Corner, Chater is there with, and is not letting him out of his line of sight. Through Stratford hairpin they come. Still the number 94 ahead and the number 24, so Carpenter from Chater. Dormer, Stewart, Coburn, Belton, Lefebvre and Smale are your 8 competitors that are all still currently circulating. And you can see Lefebvre is coming under close competition with Paul Smale. That's 7th and 8th. So we may just have 8 karts competing in this particular final, but nevertheless they will provide us with some great action all the way through, as it looks like that Gary Coburn, well, John Dormer's just been passed by Graham Stewart. So at the moment, Clive Carpenter's gone sub 46 seconds, only driver to do so, 45.69. Graham Stewart did set a purple first sector at one point. As Graham Stewart has got John Dormer for company. That's your battle for 3rd and 4th out on the road at the minute as the pair come through onto the hanger straight. Then it's through the right-hander hanger corner before now applying the brakes into Wilkins. It's a double right-hander, then it's a quick left-hand kink to put the power down, put the pedal to the metal, over the start-finish line, into the sweeping left-hander at Park Bend. Then it's incredibly tricky sometimes to get it right at Cafe Corner. It's a long, sweeping right-hander, which means that you can progressively apply the throttle as you exit the corner, but one early stab of throttle could provide a little bit of a tail-happy moment and a bit of sideways action for the driver in question, as our 2 leaders have now broken away to the tune of 2.2 seconds from the rest of the field. So Clive Carpenter and Christian Chater are now going to be battling tooth and nail over the win here in the Formula Libre final. They were 0.36 of a second apart last time around. 46.0 from Christian Chater. Clive Carpenter did a 46.28 on that last lap. As it's side by side between Coburn and Belton, and looks like Belton has got in front going into the Bruno chicane. So that is for 5th position as our 2 leaders come through Wilkins. And the gap seems to be extending slightly now. Looks like Carpenter has got a good pace under his kart. It's expanded to double the distance to 0.71 of a second between Carpenter and Chater at that time around. Meanwhile, the battle between Belton and Coburn still is going on as the pair come through Cafe Corner. So running order with 4 minutes 17 plus an additional lap to go. It's Carpenter from Chater, Stewart from Dormer, Belton, Coburn, Lefebvre and Smale rounding out the 8 strong. These are the 2 at the back part of the field, but they are still having a battle of their own. Meanwhile, Belton has just been passed by Coburn for position. Looks to be into the Bruno chicane. So all the field now will be making their way towards the final part of the track, known as Wilkins. So double right-hander here. Before applying the throttle, going around the slight left-hander onto the start-finish straight, if you want to call it that. It's a very short blast into Park Bend, then through into the right-hander at Cafe Corner. And we've seen it multiple times that corner has been used to great effect. As Graham Stewart is coming under pressure from John Dormer. This is for 3rd and 4th position. So these are the 2 battling over the last position on the top 3. They are now 3.4 seconds behind our leaders, who now come across the start-finish line to complete another lap. Now on to lap number 10, so we'll hit double figures very, very shortly. Lap times at the moment between Carpenter and Chater pretty consistent. 46.3 for the number 94 leading the race, and a 46.30 for the number 24 currently in 2nd place. As well, here we go. John Dormer puts it up the inside of Graham Stewart, who's instantly back on the switchback offensive, and the pair run down to the Bruno chicane. But it is the number 87 of John Dormer who now goes into the top 3. As Stewart takes a look at the engine on his kart, so trying to see, there's looking to be seeing if there's trying to make sure the engine doesn't choke in any way, shape or form. So leaders now onto lap number 11, 2 minutes 15 plus 1 lap. Some incredible pace being shown. The top 2 running consistently in the 46.2s and the 46.3s. A little bit more adjustment there on the front of the engine for Graham Stewart there. So whether there's an issue that he's having to battle with whilst trying to battle with John Dormer over 3rd position. And there we have Richard Lefebvre and Paul Smale still having their battle over 7th place. And I can hear some cheers from the podium area where people are getting their trophies. So the presentation's now under full swing as we fast approach the last 90 seconds plus 1 additional lap. As well, ladies and gentlemen, we need to start reconcentrating our focus on the 2 at the front. Clive Carpenter has got just less than 4/10 of a second between himself and Christian Chater. There's our top 2 going down the hanger straight, heading into hanger corner before taking the double right at Wilkins, which then puts them onto the back straight, or the main straightaway. You can see how much Chater has closed on him. He did a 46.25. Carpenter did a 46.45 last time around. But Chater is menacing right now. He is threatening Carpenter. He's sort of like saying, you know what? I thought I'd hang back for a second, and here I am once again in your peripheral vision when you look over your left or right shoulder there, Clive, says Christian. Probably, but it's quite good in terms of the strategy perspective. It'll be this, last half of the lap plus an additional one, because they won't have enough time to cross the start-finish line yet again. So, or could we? Well, it could be very close. No, it's going to be last lap board. Last lap it is. On the buzzer, that one was. And it's mano a mano. It's put your dukes up and come out fighting, and Christian Chater is wanting to do that right now. 1.5 tenths of a second between the pair as they came across the start-finish line last time around. But Chater is looking for that opportunity, looking for that way to get past and take the win here in the Formula Libre final. But I don't think he might have done enough. He was menacing enough for a bit in this final, and also in the earlier penultimate heat, the last heat of the day before we got to the finals. But it's not going to be enough, because I think, well, it depends on how Christian Chater gets out of here. But Clive Carpenter takes the Formula Libre victory in the final ahead of Christian Chater by just 1.5 tenths of a second. John Dormer takes third place ahead of Graham Stewart, with Gary Coburn winning ahead, finishing ahead of Paul Belton. With also Richard Lefebvre and Paul Smale rounding out the 8 strong. So, thank you very much, Formula Libre, for providing us with some great battles up and down the field. Some great overtakes we saw as well.